So hey guys, how you doing? Missing you lots. Thought we would do some at-home teaching here. First thing I want to start off with is some supplies. What we're going to be doing today is a brick lay highlight low light on our wonderful model Anthony.
Hello.
We are practicing our safety with our masks on, and then I also have my gloves here. So what you'll see right here is I have two different bowls. I have a Redken flash lift with 20 volume mixed up with my little brush because I like that for precision. And then I have Redken 5GB with a 3N for my low light to kind of make a level 4 in there. Give it a little gold beige, but not too much. Okay, and then what you can see, we got our clips, we have our foils, we have our foiling comb, everything is here and ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get my gloves on, and we're gonna turn Anthony around because we're gonna start in the front for this. Reason being, the reason why you wanna start in the front is because as you can see, is Anthony wears his hair going to the side this way. So I wanna be able to see exactly where I'm putting those foils to where he wears his hair. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're not gonna do any crazy sectioning for this. We're gonna kind of section as we go. That's the fun of it. It's very free form, freestyle. Wouldn't say free form highlight, but it's more of a put the foils where you want them. So we're gonna do about a 1/2 inch to start. And remember you guys, you wanna have at least 1 inch on both sides of the foil. I'm gonna kind of clip the rest of that hair out of the way. And you see you got hair falling down, just get that clipped. If I do standard sectioning on this, it might look boxy. So I want to make sure that I'm just kind of working back and forth with the way he wears his hair. All right, so we know basically when it comes to doing these first pieces, we always need to have a weave. You want to weave this first piece just simply because you want it to look natural. With the rest of this brick lay, I'm going to weave the whole entire thing. The reason I'm weaving the whole entire thing is because I want it to look natural. All right, so a lot of times we tell you guys when you start with your first weave to start with a slice. This is true because we don't like digging. So what we don't want to see is stuff like this. If you look at that, when I come up like this, that's what we call digging marks, okay? And when you take a foil and you put a foil underneath a digging mark, your foil, and I'm just going to do a front flip real quick, is not going to start until a 1/2 inch lower than the hairline. So if you guys are getting hot spots or overlapping foils and you're wondering why, and this is what's happening, this is why, because you're digging with your foils. So what we need to do is to make sure, and I'm going to flip that so we do it the Capri way this first time, and you can see I have a 1/2 foil there, is we're going to come right up to the base and we're going to work straight across as if we were taking a slice out, but as a weave. So I'm going to go across, lift up, across, lift up, across, lift up. And you see I got a spacing of about 3 pieces almost, it looks like, in there. So I'm going to go ahead, do our little trusty Capri fold, which is not my favorite, by the way, but this is a great way for you guys to gain control of the foil for starting. So as you can see, when that foil is up there, I mean, it's all the way to the base. And I'm going to start with blonde because naturally he is a blonde. I'm going to start this about 1 inch down and I'm going to bring it all the way across. The reason I'm starting it lower is so that foil has room to move as a platform when I'm pulling that bleach through. So now when I start my platform and I go to bring it through, I don't have to worry about the top slipping as I do that. You see this? I can come all the way through and I don't have any slippage at the top. So at this point, I'm going to come back up. I'm going to anchor and then I'm going to vertically brush the remainder of the bleach. You don't want to add more bleach. If you add more bleach, you're going to take a chance of having too much bleach up top and getting a hot spot. And just basically bring that up to the top like so. When I do a half foil like this, I do a flat wrap technique. So I do go ahead and I just take the other foil and set it right on top. You can see I got a little bleach right there. I need to make sure that that doesn't do anything, so I usually just spray a little conditioner on it. And I want him to be able to see, so I fold. Now, I'm not going to continue with the flat wrap method through this. I am probably going to do a front fold because that's what's comfortable for me. You guys know that we want you to be comfortable, but we teach you things a certain way for control. Always have a towel to wipe your hands in between. So as we started with a highlight, now I'm going to go more into a low light. And it's going to go highlight, low light, highlight, low light. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this hair down about 1/2 of an inch because I promised them I wouldn't go too crazy. Just like so. And if you're ever wondering like what 1/2 inch is, or if you're having a hard time with your inches, always remember like 2 fingers is going to resemble about 1 inch. 1 finger is going to do about 1/2 inch if you work with your pinky. And as you can see, this is kind of a bigger space, so I am going to go ahead and split this into 2 foils just for control and safety. I don't want to have stuff falling all over the place, and if I stretch those foils, so I'm going to come right to the top. I'm going to start my weave up, push over straight, up, push over straight, up, go a little further, straight and up. Okay, and he's got staticky hair because it's super, super clean. So when I go to flip this foil, what I'm going to do is kind of bring it this way so that I still don't have too much, you know, in my way over there when I go to do that one. As you can see, nice and clean to the base. I start my low light lower. I always start 1 inch down to 1/2 inch. Get that dark stuff in there, anchor it, and go ahead and feather to the top. Now you want to make sure you don't go above the foil. We all know what happens when we go above the foil. And you know at Capri we like to do that first fold. Why do we do that first fold? Well, if I do get color or bleach down here and I fold this up, it's not going to hit the top when I fold that up. Now, best way to not get your foils to slip, you guys, the less manipulation, the better. A lot of people get slippage at the bottom, and as you can see, just standing here, this is already slipping a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and anchor it again. Wipe my brush off. Comb it down one more time. Just so I get a little more hold. And when I do that first fold, I want to kind of try to get it exact, because I only want to fold it once. I don't want to mess with that middle too much. By doing it that way, I don't have to worry about anything leaking out. And then I also have room to start my other foil over here. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do about 3 or 4 sections, and then we'll stop and we'll come back kind of with our results, or actually how to finish up too. So we go across, lift, across, lift, across, lift. Take my trusty foil. I like to hold it with my thumb about 1 inch down, over, slide. I do not hold my comb while I foil. I need to have control of the foil, and as you can see, I just put a bleach one in, so we're going to do a dark one above that. Ooh, and I ripped the foil. Look at me, I'm on fire over here. So we're going to remember the bleach is here. This one's going to end up probably just another big bleach one in the middle. Now, you're going to ask, why didn't I fold it the first time? Well, his hair's this long. I didn't have any color at the bottom. So I don't have to do that first fold if I don't have any color at the bottom. But what I am going to do so he can see is go ahead and lift these a little bit, just to kind of keep it out of his way. So my next one's going to come out about 1/2 inch. I'm not going to go too crazy. Look at that 1 finger mark. And remember, this one's supposed to be bleach, except for I did do a highlight here, which is okay. He'd probably want more blonde to access his face anyways. So let's go ahead. Make sure that parting is nice and straight up here. You don't want to have any snaggers. If you have snaggers, it will reflect on your next foil. So just go ahead and make sure that this is really straight, or you're going to be stuck. And I don't feel like I have to split this one into two. I'm just gonna do the one and do the bleach over here so my brick lay, my dark comes in over this one over there. Now, I could be having him hand me the foils. A lot of your family members, friends will be like, hey, let me hold them foils for you, or hand them to you as you go, which is fine when it's people you know. I'm not real big on having your guests that are paying money for a service hold on to foils. They're there to relax, they're there to pay for a service, so for them to sit here and have to pay attention to handing you foils, that's not their job and that's not what they're here for. So I had a teacher tell me one time that they're there for a service they're paying for. As you can see, I am vertically combing that bleach, and what I like about this is that it actually keeps it tighter. But I had a teacher tell me one time not to let my clients hold the foils and hand them to me, and it made a lot of sense. So you can see I have no bleach down here. So I can go ahead and just make that fold. And for time purposes, I don't really need to fold the sides either. We do teach you guys about control. When you are testing, you will always have to have your folds. You need to control the hair while you're working with it. As you get into this more and more, and you get quicker and you have more experience, excuse my dogs barking out there, you'll be able to just flip and fold and go. All right, I'm gonna do about one more section, and then I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and show you guys just kind of how I finish the back after that. All right to the base, lift, over, lift, over, lift, over, lift. And what you'll notice is these should be about paper thin. Less is more, guys. You don't want to have big old chunky foils. It's not for everybody. Everybody doesn't want chunky hair. And I guarantee you, if you have more than 1/8 of an inch in that foil, you're going to have chunks. So if they're not looking for chunks, you're going to have complaints. So we always want to give the people what they're looking for, not what we're looking for. And you guys will know, some of you who don't know me on the floor yet that well, that I am absolutely neurotic about digging in your foils. So I got my dark piece here in the right spot. Go ahead, and I did start off horizontal, and then I'm finishing up vertically. It's good to finish vertically because, like I said, not only does it comb it down into the foil, but it does prevent you from taking a straight line at the top and that foil pushing it up when you fold it over. So see, I only grabbed this foil one time and one fold over. Beautiful. All right, so you'll see this next one is a highlight, and then I'm gonna finish up real quick, turn you back on when I get to the back. So we've only been working 15 minutes. I could easily get $80 to $100 for this service, and it shouldn't take you any longer than an hour. My second fold, just a light tap. You don't want to push product out. Fold that side, fold that side. Now you guys, the smaller the pockets, the more chance that bleach or that color is going to come out. This is a good size for pockets. A little smaller than this is okay, but you don't want to keep folding and folding and folding and folding, because if there's nowhere for that bleach to go, it's only going to go up. Now, if the weave isn't exact each time, is that really going to make a difference? No, but you're going to tell the difference between a one-to-one weave, like pick up one, drop one, pick up one, drop one, and a spaced out weave. Look at how clean, right to the base right there. Very easily combed up. And I just lift as I go. I'm pulling that foil up with the combing, and it's beautiful. Another thing I want you guys to make sure is that you don't have your hair pushed together in that foil. If it can't get through to the other side, it's going to be orange, or it's not going to be colored at all, and you're going to have polka dots. All right, and as you can see, this is flexible. Like, this will move without doing anything. This should not be stuck, you guys. If this foil is stuck, that means you got diggers. So, like, see how these kind of move? They're real flexible, and you can see the full section underneath. That's what you want. If it's dug out like that, you're not going to be happy with your work, and neither is your client. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right now. I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to turn you back on once I get to the back, just so you could see kind of how to finish it up. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it taught you a little something, and of course, we're going to be back with the results. All right, so as you can see, I am almost finished. I did actually have to go 3 across in some spots just because of the fact that it was too wide. I wasn't expecting to have to do that. I thought I could kind of get away with a 1-2 split. So just always remember the point of bricklaying is so that there's no splits. The reason I'm doing it in this foil is because I'm working with a circle. So like I said, I don't want to have rows. You'll actually see those rows. So when it comes to short hair, you kind of want to always do this bricklay technique on top. You really don't want to do anything below the parietal ridge, or what we know as the crest. You don't want to do anything below here on people with short hair because they'll look like they have a checkerboard. So like I said, I started with the blonde, 1, then the brown, 2, 1, 2, then the blonde, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So as much as I can bricklay it, I bricklay it. But I do section while I'm bricklaying, so you guys know how that goes because we've told you about that. So as you can see, I'm towards the end. I'm going to go ahead and kind of just fold these so that when he puts his head forward, they don't fall down. I'm going to have him look all the way down. Thank you. 1/2 inch. This one, my last one, was a dark one. So I'm probably going to just do, here is a blonde one. Here, and as you can see, I went right there to that base. And it's going to be a little harder to control the hair now because as you can see, the hair wants to pop up on me. Now, could I turn him around and go from the back? Yes. And am I going to do that? Yes. I think that's the better idea right now. You want to make sure that those foils aren't moving around so I can have control. As you can see, I already kind of dug this one out. So I'm going to pull that out right there. So now I'm going to just come to the bottom. Start right at the bottom. I'm going to kind of try to evaluate and count as I go. If I start with bleach, dark, bleach. So I will be right where I need to be. Alright, so let's go ahead, and I do not see this right here, you can't have this hanging over that. There's no way for me to see with that hair hanging over. So I do need to pinch it a little tighter. Forgive me for my dogs, I should have let them in during the break. Lift, across, lift, across, lift, across, lift. You notice I'm doing like a 1-to-2 weave ratio. I'm picking up 2, dropping 1. That's a very natural weave ratio, and these 1/2 inch partings is a very natural look too. It's not going to give you a heavy blonde or a heavy foil. It's just going to give you something real nice. Remember, get that bleach all the way across. I'm going to kind of straighten your head out there, bub. Anchor and vertically comb that hair. All right, we're gonna do our first fold in case there's bleach down there. Our second fold to hit the top, side and side. Now, this one I may not have to bricklay because of the spacing. I'm gonna have to pay attention to my weave though. But as you can see, it kind of goes up and down like that. So it should kind of maintain the bricklay itself. So this will be for my dark. I could let's see, should I split these two? I probably should. This just makes more sense than trying to control and drag those foils over. Now, the color, you're going to have a lot of slippage with color. You can see it doesn't want to hold. So you guys might rather do a smaller foil because then it's not as heavy. I just prefer it so I don't have to do all those folds. I'm going to get this out of the way. Anthony, I need you to maintain straight, please. Go ahead and get the one next to it. And you can see I just stay right at the top of that line. And I do want to show you an example of the slicing and then weaving too. Because that's typically what we like you guys to do now, so you don't get digging marks. And if you ever have something like this where it's together, you don't see a space, flip a little space out there so that your weave is consistent. Capri wave. Fold over. I just don't like how messy that is. I just never really had good control with the back fold. But we do that so that you guys can come behind and lift it. But if your foils are tight enough to begin with, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Oh, and I moved it. Put that back in. Kind of secure that foil. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that one because it looks like it wants to slip right out because, like I said, that bleed or that color, those foils do not like to stay if they're hanging. I might even clip them together at the end. All right, so you can see I got a little more than a 1/2 inch here, which this is perfect. I'm right where I need to be because I need to have some hair in between those foils. So one thing we always tell you guys is you'll walk up to us with like something on the top and you'll have a foil here right next to these 2 foils up there. Well, then you're gonna have a chunk. So we need to always make sure, even if there's a part there, that our 1/2 inch spacing is still accurately there. So as you can see, this is about a 1/4 inch I'm taking off of the top. That'll leave me what I have on the bottom to go ahead and weave out that bleached piece. And let's just do that. Oh, and I don't like the way that hair's hanging, but I can't mess with it right now. Oh, I did want to show you guys the slice. Let me do that real quick. So when we tell you to slice and then foil off the slice, you're going to actually take a slice like this and you're just going to weave off that, and then you're going to have a straight line underneath. You're not going to have any digging. To me, it's time consuming. I like to just come to the base, but I did have to do that probably the first 5 years of my career so that I didn't dig. So it takes time. You know, you don't want diggers. If I could tell you guys anything about having a foil or doing a foil, is that you don't want to be digging. It will look chunky. It will have hot spots. Look, bleach all the way across, 1/2 inch down to 1 inch. Hold your foil, platform down, and we're gonna see that. Get that hair out of there. Anchor. Vertically comb that hair down so you get it right to the base. And remember, don't add more bleach. If you add more bleach and there's a big load of bleach up there, guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna go over the top. There we go. A lot of times if I do have something like that, I'll just get that bulk out of there, and I'm going to fold. Let that come down. Hold those together so they don't go anywhere. And you guys, we have 35 minutes for that color because it is a permanent color. That's why I only use 20 volume. Normally I would go with a higher developer to get blonder the fastest because I'm only doing this spot and it only takes me 20 minutes to foil. But I have to think about the timing of that low light. And if that low light's gonna take 35 minutes, I have to make sure that that blonde isn't done quicker, or else I'm gonna be pulling and spraying and it's gonna be a mess. So we're gonna do right now, it says the time is 4:35. So at exactly 5 o'clock, I'm gonna go ahead and wash him out, and I'm gonna bring you guys back in as soon as I do the blow dry so you can see our results. Are we going to tone him? That's a great question. That's the question you guys always ask. Well, what am I gonna use for a toner? Well, we don't really know that until we see what we have to work with. And with Anthony being a dishwater blonde already, I don't think we're gonna have to tone him. He will get as platinum as he can get because his hair is dishwater blonde. We know that bleach usually has about 7 levels of lift, and with him already being a level 6 on his own, that's gonna bring him right up to like a, you know, like a 12, 13, no problem. Will it damage his hair? No, because it's natural. His hair is all natural. Could I have went in with something other than bleach? I could have, but it wouldn't have gotten light enough because he is dishwater blonde. All right, you guys, we will be back. All right, you guys, so as you can see, I just washed Anthony out. Kind of looking at it right now, you don't really see anything because it's wet and it's supposed to look natural, so I don't want you to really feel like you see anything. I do not feel like I need a toner. I do feel like his blonde is light enough. So I am gonna go ahead and blow dry him so you guys can see. I am gonna just a little bit of leave-in conditioner, kind of bring it back down to the pH since it did just get bleached. And for control, I'm gonna throw a little bit of mousse in there, just a tiny bit. Does he say he didn't like that?
Yeah.
Because it makes my blow dry look better. That's why.
Okay.
My hands were just freshly washed and cleaned, just so everybody knows. He does wear everything kind of pushed forward. So we're gonna go ahead and grab my blow dryer, and I want to grab a paddle brush. I'll be right back. My bristle brush. my wet brush bristle, the shine brush. I'm going to turn him this way so I can kind of see what I'm doing. And as you guys can see, it is starting to dry now. How natural that is looking. I like to always finish with the comb. It sets the hair, lays the cuticle flat so there's no frizz. Just play with it with my fingers a little bit now.